Here I've got another video on factoring with the box method. This problem, because it involves negatives, is going to be much more difficult than the previous problems we've looked at. So hopefully we remember our first steps of factoring with the box method, which is take my first term and put it in the top box, and my last term and put it in the last box, and then I'm basically finding a way to break up this middle term. So I need two numbers that will add to give me negative x, or in other words, negative 1x. So what two numbers are those that I can add to make that? But I also need two numbers that will multiply to give me my product of my first and my last terms, which would be negative 12x squared. So what two numbers can I add to make negative 1x, but multiply to make negative 12x squared? Well, let's see. I know that if they multiply to make a negative 12x squared, one of my numbers is going to be positive and the other one's going to be negative. So let's think. What are two numbers that could multiply to make negative 12x squared, and one would be positive and one would be negative? Let's see, I could do negative 6x and 2x. Those multiply to make negative 12x squared, but those don't add to make negative x, so that's no good. I could do negative 12x and 1x, because those would multiply to make negative 12x squared, but they wouldn't add to make negative 1x, so that's no good. What about 3x, negative 3x and 4x? Well, those would multiply to make negative 12x squared, but those would add to make a positive x and not a negative x. So maybe instead of doing negative 3x and positive 4x, if I just change it to that and did 3x and negative 4x, now I've got two numbers that multiply to get that and two numbers that add to give me a negative 1x. So once again, I'm going to put those into my boxes. It doesn't matter which one goes where, and I just want to factor out to the left. Since this is a negative, I can factor out a negative 2. Between these two, I can factor out an x. Between these, although this one's a negative, the one up here is a positive, so I just want to factor out a positive 2x. And here, I want to factor out a 3. So my factor is going to be 2x plus 3 times x minus 2. And once again, I should never miss a problem like this, because I can use my distribution method or my box method to multiply these back out and find out that I do in fact get the polynomial that I want for my product, which is 2x squared minus x minus 6.